Hey folks, we had a stellar evening with Dominic Rapini running for Secretary of State, and there's a lot of stuff that's going to come out. Yep, can't talk about it, but I want you to listen in on this phone call. It's to the state police.
You have reached Connecticut State Police Troop Agent Hartford. All calls are recorded. If this is an emergency, hang up and dial 911. If you are calling in regards to Department of Health fingerprinting, please go to the website www.tinyrl.com.
Please hold a moment. State Police, Trip H.
Hi, Trooper James Grimes.
He's on the road right now at an accident. Would you like his voicemail?
Well, I've been calling him since June 8th. A woman was assaulted, a blind woman, at Columbus Magnet School. And I reported it to the police, but since she's in Black Lives Matter, and the cop was black, he won't prosecute her. Now, she has multiple assaults in the screen. So does her father, and so does her uncle. So I called him because he sent me an email, right, saying that I filed a complaint with the state, and the state hadn't been following up. I sent it in 4 times, the same complaint, alleging that a blind woman was assaulted who was standing next to me on election day. So it's a long time ago. It's like 10 months ago. So he gave me the song and dance, which is great. And this blind woman is a state advocate for the disabled, friends with Richard Blumenthal. So the fact that she was volunteering at a school on election day, I really commend her, but now I'm finding out that there's no response, that they leaked it to Hearst media, that there's no response, yet they didn't notify me. And this is my 3rd consecutive annual complaint. There are pictures of the governor having voting signs, political information within the 75-foot barrier, along with Attorney General Tong, along with Senate Majority Leader Duff, and Congressman Jim Himes. Not only that, the state rep was in the street with a bullhorn saying, F Trump, and agreeing with Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter had F Trump signs. The woman was there in support of Trump, blind, and they pushed her up against a fence. Okay, and I wrote a complaint. And they're not arrested yet because they're black and the officer's black. So I think there's a bias here. And, James Grimes called me saying we received a call from the Election Enforcement Commission of harassment on my part. Really? Really? Because it's assault. And they have a history of it. In other words, the family, if you look back in the news, Travis Sims assaulted many people over the years. His brother, Tarvis, his identical twin, assaulted people. His daughter now is assaulting blind women. And I've left messages with the guy, and now it seems that Hearst has information about my complaint that I filed that James was following up on. It's quite disturbing, and I'm going to write an op-ed about it this week if I don't have this situation cleaned up. I have no problem. It's not harassment calling about witnessing an assault on a blind woman. It violates ADA law. Oh, really? And I pointed that out to James. So now I don't have an answer from the state. The state contacted the media. They wrote in a story about it. It affects Dan Haar, I guess, or whoever wrote the story. I did call Hearst, and take my word for it. It violates ADA law to threaten a blind person. It's been mishandled. It can be corrected. I'd like the arrest of Officer Williams at the Norwalk Police Department. Can that be arranged? Mr. James Grimes should have the information about the complaint. After all, when you witness a assault on a blind woman and you're running for U.S. Senate against Richard Blumenthal, and we're mutual friends with the blind lady, Richard and I get along fine, okay? We agree about many things in Connecticut. We don't agree that our mutual friend should be assaulted. And we're wondering why the state police hasn't investigated properly. No one even called the blind woman, if you can believe that. Her name is Elizabeth Greenwood. She's a friend of mine since I was 10 and she was 5. My father is her father's best friend. So can you tell me how James Grimes... Do you see the emails? Have you read the emails he sent to me? Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay.
I'm very busy, so do you want his voicemail?
Well, hold on a second.
No, I don't have time to listen to any more.
Okay.
I'm extremely busy here today, and I need to know if you want his voicemail
Well,
or not.
we're at 6 minutes and 45 seconds.
Do you want the voicemail or not? I'm going to hang up, sir.
I'll be sending... Can you give me his email?
It's his first name dot last name at ct.gov.
Okay. I'll be sending...
All right.
Can I get your first and last name? If you don't have time for an assault on a blind woman, there's a problem.
The trooper handles that, and the trooper's already apparently taken your complaint.
Apparently not. So you won't give me your name. That's fine. You want to stay out of it? I don't blame you. Thanks. Have a great day.
You too.
Wow. So the state troopers are complicit in Black Lives Matter action and refuse to investigate an assault. I'm at 8 minutes. I've said enough, but I would like to mention one other thing if you have time. Here it is. Ready? So I'm a painter on the side and many other things. I'm a bond trader. But if you go to my Rings End invoices, you can see, here's one on the screen. I gotta go back. Rings End is an excellent outfit. It really is. They treat their employees terrifically. They have fantastic employees. No disrespect. None. None warranted. They try to stay out of politics for the most part, which is fine. They're family men, they're Christian. But if you look at some of these invoices, okay, you'll see that a gallon of paint is $45.35 right here. $45.35. That's pre-tax. And they charge you a fee for throwing out the gallon, which is 75 cents, which is fine. We have to pay for oil-based products. This is Arbor Coat. This happens to be a exterior Pelican gray gallon of paint. The solid white exterior paints are they're approaching $60. Okay, I'll tell you why. Because Benjamin Moore was purchased by Warren Buffett a couple years ago. And every year he raises the cost of a gallon of paint. Well, in 2 years they went up about 60%. So you really, and Connecticut wrote a law about exterior oil-based primers and oil-based gallons. So they don't want it to affect the environment. However, if you do repair work on a house, I can show you rotting wood all over the state of Connecticut, especially along the ocean, you can't fix it properly without an oil-based primer. What I'm saying is, Black Lives Matter supporter Warren Buffett writes checks. So does Pelosi. The money gets to Antifa. The money gets to violent people like Portland, Oregon. Now coming to Connecticut, where you can assault blind people who are Trump supporters, yelling, "No justice, no peace." Okay, here we go. If the state doesn't prosecute the assaulters, the people who assaulted a friend of mine, volunteer on my staff, they're going to lose their houses in judgments in federal court or state court, wherever I have to go. We're writing the 5G lawsuit against my opponent, Richard Blumenthal, because he took 17 payments. 17s. That was a year ago. What is he up to now? God knows he should retire, being a billionaire, owning Chinese radio, TV, theme park hotels next to Disney, China, while claiming that Trump colluded with the Russians when in fact it was Hillary. Bill and Hillary are friends of Blumenthal from college, and Blumenthal brought Comey down from the Connecticut FBI, which I've been locking horns with for 20 years about Bernie Madoff and money laundering associated with Malloy, the ex-governor. Look at a court case. Want me to take you there? I hope you have time for this, folks. I really do. Let's go there quickly, because there's hundreds of lawsuits in Connecticut that were mishandled. jud.ct.gov. jud.ct.gov. If I don't show you how to do it, how you gonna know? There we go. Let's get it on the screen. There it is. Let's go to it. Let's knock me off. Quite literally. Okay, ready? Case lookup. No cannabis. Oh, here's ADA law. They don't follow it. Here's case lookup. Here's civil. I'm going to start showing you how to find out who the biggest criminals in Connecticut are. By docket number. Let's go by docket number. Stamford, year 14. Case 501-4296. There's some doozies out there. Ready? What's taking so long? There it is. John Flynn, Clairvoyant Capital, Greenwich Global, my brokerage firm. Defendant, City of Norwalk, Fidelity, Bank of America. Ready? Jim Himes' largest donor. NASDAQ, Bernie Madoff. Got it? Town of Darien. Yep. Wilton. Yep. Daniel Malloy. Yeah. Read the complaint. Racketeering, folks. Let's go to the complaint. Yeah. Defendant 1. Defendant 2. Pleadings 92 through 121. Daniel Malloy. 208 through 212. Guess what? City of Norwalk. Very interesting. 1 through 91. This alleges that the mayor of Norwalk, the mayor of Norwalk, Harry Rilling, has a file where Detective Maloney falsified evidence. You should read it. Guess what it does? It accuses me, of threatening to blow up Bank America. That never happened. That's what his file says. What does the file say? Oh, well, I've been trying to get Norwalk to arrest the mayor for 20 years. Pedophile Thomas Cummings had the case first. He went to jail for having... No, he didn't go to jail. They mishandled the case. Mccozy screwed the pooch. Colangelo helped him. Maloney falsified evidence and destroyed 500 money laundering pieces of evidence. $250,000 here, $250,000 there, $35 million over here, $35 million over here. Oh, where are the shares? Stolen. Who stole them? Judge Adams's law firm. Hello. Who is involved in the largest securities fraud case in Connecticut? Folks, the one on the screen is not the biggest one. That one deals with racketeering, wire fraud, check fraud, accounting fraud, all based on Harry Rilling, mayor of Norwalk, telling Detective Maloney, tell Mr. Flynn in internal emails, tell Mr. Flynn to stand in the long line of financial crimes that will never be investigated. Why? Because the fix is in, folks. The judges on one hand, here's one hand, say, oh, tell him to arbitrate at NASDAQ. And on the other hand, Bernie Madoff is chairman of NASDAQ. Oh, tell him to go stick it up his ass and go through Stanford Superior Court. Tell him to go to NASDAQ and stick it up his ass. Or tell him go to FINRA, controlled by my Congressman Jim Himes, and stick it up John Flynn's ass. Well, guess what? Nobody's sticking it up mine, okay? I'm going to stick it up theirs. And I need your support to get rid of the biggest criminals in Connecticut. And guess what? They say, oh, Flynn's an idiot. He's a Trump supporter. Really? I was one of the 13 people in Connecticut who ran against Trump in 2020, and Denise Merrill screwed the pooch on that. So I'm at 19 minutes. Nobody's going to watch this unless in case it goes viral. Oh, it's going to go viral one day. You have no idea. The evidence I have is so damaging that even Black Lives Matter will vote for me. Why? Because no justice, no peace, and no racist police. Very, very few cops in Connecticut are racists. Very, very few. Very few. Like 5 in the city of Stamford. 5. Like 5 in the city of Norwalk out of 175. 5. So here you go. You wonder why Islam doesn't attack radical Islam. You wonder why honest cops don't turn in the dirty ones. Who are the dirty ones? Kilcoyne, Collins, Jose Doe, Juan Doe, Nusira Doe. You get my point? John Doe's, unidentified murderers on the payroll. How many are there? Oh, you know. I ran against Trump in support of Trump. I knew Trump couldn't win Connecticut because it's rigged. Okay? However, if Johnny Flynn won Connecticut, those would be electoral college votes not for Biden. Not for Biden. Seems reasonable to me, since they rigged the election and 40% of the vote was 40% of the voters in Connecticut are undecided or independent. I ran as an independent, folks, I was polling at 21%. Guess who falsified a lot of stuff? Quite a few people. The city of Bridgeport, the city of Hamden, no question about it. What other cities? I'm at 21 minutes. I really hope you watch this, because if you read this complaint on the screen, there it is, and you go down to what Norwalk did. What did Norwalk do? Norwalk officials, police, and NASD allowed 2 illegal branches of a NASDAQ member firm, Greenwich Global LP, to operate and perpetuated the affairs of an enterprise through threats. Police prevented the plaintiff from exercising control, and I'm the licensed professional. Can you imagine? Bank America set up fictitious credit cards in clairvoyant's name. Wow. KDW, law firm of Judge Adams, was able to obtain stays from court actions by stealing all the arbitration agreements from Greenwich Global. Really? When you open a bank account, okay, at Bank America, you have to sign forms. Right. Saying, oh, we agree to arbitrate. So they can force you not to go to police through the court system. However, in this case, Delphine Knight Brown, attorney for Kelly Dry, living in Darien, destroyed the arbitration agreements that they took from a brokerage firm. I'm not saying Greenwich Global is the only law brokerage firm in Connecticut that got robbed. I'm saying in this document, 253 brokerage firms got robbed. So Bank Boston, Fleet Bank Boston, could be bought by Bank America in the largest security fraud scandal in Connecticut history. Now we're at 23 minutes. Maybe people should start to follow. Maybe. Because our Regeneron shares we purchased at 20 as an investment banker. We put a buy on Regeneron at 20. We tried to sell it at 650. Guess what? The shares aren't in the account. Why? Because the statements are falsified. This is serious stuff that Deputy Chief Zecca is covering up. That Deputy Chief, I'm not going to mention his name, is covering up. Another deputy chief. Why? Because he doesn't return phone calls. She doesn't. She won't give us police reports. He won't either. And it's troubling that hitmen were used. Hitmen were used. I fought one for 2.5 hours. What happened? Oh, we couldn't get the 911 calls through Judge Provader. We couldn't play them through Judge Heller, Judge Jacobs, Judge Adams. Judge Provader is bad news, folks. He was Malloy's chief of staff and Malloy's chief counsel of the city of Stamford for 10 years under Larrabee, who went to East Haven, who was never indicted. Nappy was never indicted. Gallo was never indicted. They did indict Zullo, Spaulding, Miller, and one other cop. Let me think of his name. Oh. Zullo, Spaulding, Miller, and the fourth one's important. He testified he was trained to falsify police reports to justify false arrest. What's his name? Can anyone guess his name? It's on the tip of my tongue. It's not Miller. Miller was in charge of enforcement. He used informants to beat people up. Spaulding was another bad one. Miller, Spaulding, Zullo. Zullo actually has a cousin who's a great guy. I believe he's state rep in East Haven. But his cousin's a bad dude. So hold on. So when you get down to the facts, Zullo, Spaulding, Miller, starts with a C. Oh well, it's all on the record. Get it on the record, folks. We're going to get some things on the record very shortly that are shocking. And this is only one of them. We should look at the... Let's do it again. Let's while I have your attention, and I think I do. I think I will. Let's go here. Let's go back. Let's close this. Let's go back. We're on the state's judicial website. Ready? Case lookup. Party name. Colangelo. I sued him 6 times. Anthony. Okay. Let's go back. Back. R. Richard. This is the chief state's attorney. Richard. Eugene. Flynn. Here we go. Look at this. This is one of the cases. This is the Stephen Barrier murder. That's not the one I'm looking for. Let's go back and look for another one. Ready? Here we go. Let's look for it's a clearing firm. It's an Australian clearing firm. I wonder why they don't list it. Colangelo's a defendant in it. Computer shares, that's what it's called. Let's look. Not found. Really? Computer connections, computer pharmacy. Computer share, John Flynn. Here we go. Look, 501-8880. Halloran and Sage. Computer share. Richard Colangelo is a defendant in this. Honorable Mary Summer. Appearance. Complaint. Aiding and abetting a criminal enterprise in violation of Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organization Act. Computer share. Minnesota. That company is owned by a Canadian company, which is owned by an Australian company. You really should look into this. Thomas Kelly, Kelly Dryan Warren, attorney, affiliated with Judge Adams, falsified letters to financial regulators. Delphine Knight Brown, attorney to Bank of America, made false statements in court. Yes, she did. James Moriarty, at trial, John Parent testified that KDW never asked him for discovery. Computer shares allowed for supported anonymous trading of my stocks. Broker-dealer branch 931 at U.S. Clearing was bought by Quicken Riley Clearing, part of Fleet Securities. defendant computer shares, hid the property of plaintiff's broker-dealer. Wow. Well, in this document, it says exactly what Richard Filippelli did, Richard Colangelo did, and this deals with the falsified investigation of the Norwalk, Stamford, and Wilton Police Departments. Chief Cipolla, if everyone knows. Kenneth Bravado. Here we go. Bank of America robbed a bank customer and made false statements to Darien police. Yes, Dignan is the one. After the red-headed guy with the mustache who retired. Brent Larrabee, that's the chief of police of Stamford, used unregistered informants to threaten to kill Flynn. Chief Larrabee worked for Mayor Malloy and Kenneth Bravado, who was counsel to City of Stamford, and the judge allowed it. Mayor Malloy gave instructions to Police Chief Larrabee, who contacted Sergeant Miller, who spoke to Stamford Internal Affairs, Officer Devaney. Sergeant Scobie and other used local unregistered informants to threaten to kill Flynn. Unregistered informant Filippelli said he was protected by the police union president. Many police reports contain false information. Yes, over 100. Informant Filippelli was hired to kill Police Officer Dealey and Police Officer Lamb, according to State versus Riddle. The court did not enforce subpoenas, did not approve subpoenas. When you get into the nitty-gritty of what's happening in the Stamford Superior Court, folks, it's shocking. I'm at 32 minutes. No one's going to watch this. Great idea. Watch this and learn about judicial misconduct, legislative misconduct of Malloy, and now Lamont. Prosecutorial misconduct of Macozy, Colangelo, Dignan, Maloney, Cummings, Vitarbo, Lamb, DeRosa, DeSpagna. I'm saying it's widespread, folks. There's a long list of people who have never been investigated for financial crimes because of Mayor Harry Rilling. Many mayors, as a matter of fact. East Haven, for sure. Many others. Believe me when I say, Connecticut has a problem. It starts and ends with the FBI, the state police, and local municipalities who are sanctuary city, don't listen to federal law, supported by the Senate Majority Leader, Bob Duff, who takes no questions, answers no questions of John Flynn. That would be me. The only loud gong clanging in Connecticut. I'm going to send this to people, and the list will be long. And if they don't watch it, it's on them. Have a great day. I do own a Trump hat. I do own many. It's only because he was the best choice I had. Not a perfect choice. Far better than brain-dead Biden. Far better. And I thank you. Please donate to my campaign, Flynn 2022, for U.S. Senate. I'm the only candidate worthy.